Coming up next, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television. We discuss the week in review, a new segment or returning segment called Versus, and it's Be the Booker for this Sunday's TNA Wrestling pay-per-view. The Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television starts right now.
And now, celebrating 13 years on the air, this is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime with David Hero, Frank Cosentino, Linda Kay, the man they call Meathead, and Damian Nelson. All the latest from World Wrestling Entertainment, total nonstop action wrestling, and more. This is the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time for Friday, November 5th, 2010. Damian Nelson here sitting alongside David Octavius, the Tiberius, the hero.
The greatest American hero.
You got a lot of play out of that, didn't you? Special Halloween episode last weekend.
Absolutely.
Then you were out chalavanting the town in your little costume there, trying to fly all over the place.
I was
People
flying.
were saying, who could it be? And your answer was?
Ralph Hinckley.
What he should have said was, believe it or not, it's just me. Because, that's how the theme song went.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe if you educated people better about the show, they would relate to it a little
The show was
easier.
almost 30 years ago. Most of those people weren't even born.
Well, we got a lot in store for you tonight. So first, let's talk about the week that was in professional wrestling. And David, I think we should start with WWE Raw this past Monday night. Pee Wee Herman was the guest host. I know you are, but what am I?
Wow.
Did you ever see the movies Playhouse and Big Adventure?
I saw all of them.
Or was it Big Adventure and Return of something?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Is it Big Mama?
No, not Big Mama. That was
Martin. Ah, yes. No.
How
was
can you confuse Pee Wee Herman and Martin
The
Lawrence?
truck driving lady. I thought her name was Big Mama.
Oh, I remember
or
that.
something like that. They'll correct you.
No, they'll correct you.
Pee Wee, the guest host on Raw this past Monday night. The Miz made him a star, obviously, again.
Whoa,
and then
wait a
the
minute.
Big Show revealed as Pee Wee's cousin.
I think Pee-wee helped elevate The Miz.
Please explain.
Well,
Or I'm sorry, I should get a top. Just start it up when you
we used to have a
Get up,
little
get up.
hamster wheel, but that guy's,
got his own segment. now.
yeah. Here's the thing,
Hash mark early.
okay? Of all the people they could send out to interact with Pee Wee Herman, who's the one guy that they wanted to get the best crowd reaction from?
Well, the guy who would naturally get the
The
best crowd
Miz.
reaction.
That's why they sent The Miz out there. Because they knew Pee Wee could make him a bigger heel, because Pee Wee was so popular.
Was so popular.
Yeah, he looks old. There's a lot of makeup on that face.
He ages as well as Casey Kasem.
Yeah, but Casey Kasem is still allowed in most major movie theaters.
I think Pee Wee's allowed in movie theaters. It's just movie theaters skewed to a certain age. Maybe he may not be able to get. And how long ago was that? Really, you're hanging on that? Really?
I'm not hanging on nothing.
Neither was he.
Buttering popcorn.
Pee Wee Herman did bring us Lita back to WWE
Yes.
TV.
How
You know, in a lot of movie theaters, you have to buy salt now. They got this gimmick with this little flavored popcorn
he brings
flavor
his
and
own,
crap.
Yeah. But Lita, how amazing did she look?
She looked great. She
Yes.
looked dang good. How long's it been? It's been a number of years since we saw Lita.
How
on
funny
WWE.
is it that a week or two after Matt Hardy's gone, Lita comes back?
Is there, what do they call it, heat there?
I don't know. I'm sure they don't, exchange Christmas cards or Easter eggs anymore.
How about her and Edge?
Well, I doubt that goes on. Edge is married to Val Venus' sister.
Now, Venus, who is back with
He's-
World Wrestling
yes, he is
Entertainment.
a
Now, if
backstage
you read
agent.
all the news out there, it appears as if he's going to be on Raw Monday night this past. I didn't see him.
No, he's an agent. He's a backstage guy. He works with the promos. I'm happy Val Venus is back. Extremely talented guy. Super great guy. And you know what? He was part of the Attitude Era where getting over was a challenge at times because there were so many great stars.
And you could hear Sean Morley, Val Venus, in a recent interview we conducted with him at pwrshow.com in the interview section on demand. Lita, not even really mentioned by the WWE broadcast team that she was even there after it happened. It was almost like it just didn't make much sense. I guess why make a big deal out of it if it's just a one-time deal, but Lita was a pretty big star.
She was a huge star. Her and the Hardy Boys, come on. And then with Edge, you got to wonder what she's thinking when she sees all of these Divas Search Divas, now wrestlers, and all the dues she had to pay to get to where she was.
The dues?
Yeah, where she like wrestled all over the world and Mexico and the Indies and all that good kind of stuff.
I wonder if you can, you probably can't answer this, but can you tell me what Lita has in common with Kane Hodder, who is the guy who played Jason in Friday the 13th parts 6, 7, 8, 9, and Jason X, I believe?
I have no clue.
They both have a tattoo on the inside of the lower lip that says kill.
She has that?
She has a tattoo, I believe it says kill.
Huh.
Think of the pain.
It's rather disturbing,
She's got a high threshold.
I guess. But why there? I mean, really?
Where should she have gotten it?
Well, listen, if I'm dating Lita and she pulls back that lip and I see kill,
This one.
yeah, I'm not touching her.
Looks like
What
we're
does
going
that
to
say
see.
about the teeth?
Looks like we're going to see a matchup between John Morrison and Sheamus coming up soon. They continued that whole thing where John Morrison getting involved in Sheamus's matchups.
It's disturbing because it's now Sheamus is being pulled back a little bit, which tells me Triple H isn't coming back as soon as we had thought he was.
Triple H was on Raw Monday night. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he was also at the Fan Appreciation Show, but they're not keeping Sheamus elevated for Triple H to come back. They're bringing him down a notch or two to work with John Morrison, to try to get John Morrison over.
Isn't it mutually beneficial?
No, how does it help? How does it help Sheamus to go down 2 pegs on the card to work with John Morrison?
Does the viewing audience see it as going down 2 pegs on the card, though?
I don't know.
Do you see it going down as 2 pegs on the card?
It is. He's taking a few
I was
steps
waiting for him
back.
to answer.
Wow.
I like it. I mean,
Well, yeah, because you like John Morrison. You guys have, partied together. WrestleMania. Parties together.
it is rare that WWE invests a couple of weeks into a feud at that level of the card.
Because
Well,
they
they've done so.
need some new baby faces.
Cody Rhodes is a babyface now.
Wow.
You watch NXT on Tuesday? Oh, by the way, did you watch NXT on Tuesday? That's next on the list. So if you want to just go ahead and start figuring out how you're going to get out of this one in your head.
It's okay.
Right ahead.
I already figured it out. I'm ready.
Sure you did.
Uh-huh.
The McMahons, Vince and Stephanie, return on Raw this past Monday night with on-screen appearance by recently returned to WWE as well, Freddie Prinze Jr. An entertaining segment.
It
Vince
was.
McMahon comes out of a coma, finds out Linda McMahon spent $60 million on the campaign, and that
$60 million.
John Cena is part of Nexus, and that Daniel Bryan is the United States champion.
How many glow sticks, DX glow sticks, is $60 million going to buy?
And the more important question is how many Rey Mysterio masks will that buy? Now, keep in mind, they probably made, I think last month I read somewhere they made $130 million on Miz shirts.
I miss who shirts?
The Miz, Mike Mizanin.
Oh, I just said Miz.
Did you hear Riley call him Mike?
No.
All this past Monday night? It's not so good. The McMahons, your thoughts on that segment? It was clear its intention, but it was entertaining.
It was great because that's what was fun about wrestling, was those kind of skits they used to have. Just funny how $60 million brings up his heart rate and knocks him out of a coma. It would have put me in a coma.
Last time we saw Vince on TV, he was being taken out by Nexus.
Mhm.
So it made some sense, unless you've been to WWE.com, where Vince has been advocating that all of you stand up for WWE. Triple H's voice in bed with Stephanie McMahon, sort of funny and clever how they did that. But did you hear the pop? Just the mere thought, or once she started asking him questions.
Everybody was hoping that they'd pan over and you'd see
Absolutely.
Triple H in bed with
And
her.
how brilliant is it that they didn't?
Yeah, because they've teased it for so long. I mean, anyone that knows. While we're talking about Triple H, we're talking about knows. That's pretty funny.
N-O-S-E or K-N-O-W-S?
Both of them.
He knows about nose.
Yes, he knows.
Bo knows, too. Here's what I don't know or understand. R-Truth in the main event. I was all out of fast forward. I had to watch his entrance.
Wasn't it a week ago I said he's a world champion because he has Eve, and now he's in a headlining main event on Raw?
Oh, of course. Headlining main event, of course. Oh, absolutely, it was a headlining main event.
That wasn't.
Why wouldn't it have
Whoa!
been?
That wasn't the
No,
match
not
that
in my
they
opinion.
promoted
Clearly, it
the
was
entire
the
Raw?
Miz versus Big Show as the headlining match on Raw.
No,
Monday
it
night.
was
Clearly,
not,
it was.
because all they talked
Not even
about
just
was
because
the
I'm a mark for
truth.
the Miz. Why are you crunked?
I'm not crunked.
Clearly you're crunked.
Okay, I'm uncrunked. Why are you so upset about that? You should be happy that they're pushing some other young guys.
Listen, let me say this clearly. R-Truth is an amazing talent. He's a very, very talented performer in the
He
ring.
can dance, too.
That's the problem I have.
You know like how he dances?
The stereotypical presentation of him. And stereotypical
How is it
presentation.
stereotypical? What's he going to do, come
How
out
is
with a
it
cowboy
not?
hat?
And say he hates rap. Absolutely, yes. he
sure.
should. That would be interesting.
Okay.
I have no desire to see him dancing and rapping towards the ring. Without that piece, I'd probably be fine. I was fine with him in TNA. I was fine with him when he was the NWA World Champion. I have no desire to see R-Truth.
But you had no
The time
problem.
to get
Hold
crunked.
on. But you had no problem with Jesse and Festus coming on as the Hillbillies.
I never stated an opinion on that matter on this program.
Mm-hmm. You never said you didn't like it.
I never
You
said I
didn't
did.
say that was stereotypical.
I don't think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that is.
Wow, really?
I don't think it is.
That's terrible.
It's not. What's stereotypical about that?
Two hillbillies coming down with their overalls and biscuits and gravy?
This conversation could go a lot deeper. I'm going to go just cancel it right now.
Okay.
Because there's a difference there.
I don't see it.
Do you like biscuits and gravy?
I've had a couple.
Have you made biscuits and gravy?
No.
How
But
do you feel about Cracker Barrel's biscuits and gravy?
those are actually very good. Not as good as Waffle House.
Ah, yes.
What's good here?
That's the question. What did you think of WWE Raw overall this past Monday night? Did they go somewhere? Did they do what they needed to do? A lot of people saying this maybe should have been the pre-Survivor Series edition because of the story told between Wade
I
Barrett and
think
Cena.
Pee Wee
at the end of the
Herman
night.
made Raw great. Brought out the best in everybody. I heard that everybody in the back was jacked that Pee Wee was in the Playhouse.
Pee Wee's an old school hero.
Yes.
He was around the same time that TV show you dressed up as last week was around, wasn't it?
No, he was on after that.
Was he?
Yeah.
Pee Wee is a pop icon. There's no doubt about it.
No pun intended.
Back to that again. Really? Man almighty.
It's Pee Wee Herman. How
I
can
thought
you
Raw
pass
was
that up?
I thought Raw was solid this past Monday night. It was a fun show. I think the longest match on the card again went to The Miz. Read into that as you so choose. David Hero, am really starting to be entertained by Michael Cole. Do you know why?
Because he knows what he's talking about.
Because of his quote on NXT on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Right? Which we'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm enjoying him. He is obnoxious. He is solidly behind the people who he feels are the future of the company. I'm enjoying Michael Cole.
He kind of reminds him of yourself a little bit.
I was Cole before Cole was cool.
Yes, you were.
Like Shawn Michaels with DX before DX was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of X's, NXT this past Tuesday night.
You know what I
That's
noticed?
available
You know what?
online
You know what?
at WWE.com.
I can tell you're watching way too many Miz matches.
Why is that?
If we rewind the tape, you're sitting here going like this.
What is that supposed
You're
to
still
imply?
tapping.
I'm tapping and like I'm bopping my head to Mrs.
Okay.
theme song.
Okay.
Awesome. I came to play.
Yeah.
I understand that's Senior Intern Cal's favorite wrestling theme from WWE
Yeah, he
Music Volume
plays
10, huh?
that a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank God there's no Dashing Cody Rhodes theme song on there. Pal.
Apparently Cody has the magic though because he was popular with the Divas this past Tuesday night at NXT.
They felt he was safe.
Safer than Hornswoggle?
Well, absolutely.
Hornswoggle got a little bit of action too.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's horny.
Oksana digs for a little bit of gold, walks out on gold dust immediately following the nuptials presided over by, eventually, Ted DiBiase Sr.
Okay.
Here we
Here's
go.
once again how NXT is not reality. The fans' votes do not matter because that whole show is scripted.
Like American Idol?
Worse than American Idol.
American Idol's a work. I don't know if anybody knows out there. It's just, I've been there. I've seen it. I've not done that, but it
You
is
bought the T-shirt?
absolutely not. Nor have I ever voted via text or phone.
No.
You were about to explain
Yeah,
why
okay.
Maxine's elimination is a
Maxine,
bit unique.
the best talent in NXT.
Your pick. for the winner of season 3. Like Husky Harris was your pick last year.
Right, and Husky Harris. Okay, let's go with my picks. Wade Barrett, winner.
Got one right.
Main event superstar. Husky Harris.
Main event superstar. He is. Go, fine.
Whoa.
No, he is. Fine.
The last 3 pay-per-views, who's been in the main event?
Nexus.
Wade Barrett.
With Nexus.
Fine, but still Wade Barrett. Husky Harris, 2nd place. He's headlining some matches. He's in some big matches with Nexus. Okay? Now we're at Maxine. A good-looking brunette that can work and talk and cut a promo. Now, I like Caitlyn, but she has been put in a position where the fans love her, and she's put in a position to succeed because she's with Vicky Guerrero. Okay? Oksana, they just did the whole angle with Goldust, so of course they had to keep her
She got what
around.
she needed.
Absolutely.
She may get what she deserves.
Yeah. So, of course, let's get rid of, as Michael Cole would say, the hot chick.
Sure, great idea. Why wouldn't you get rid of the hottest chick on the program? That's
So,
what Michael Cole said.
Maxine's gone, but put it this way, I guarantee,
Like Justin Wilson?
yes, she
He's
will be back and brought back in a great role, either on Raw or SmackDown.
Because eliminations don't matter on anything.
They don't matter at all. Look at how many have still gotten jobs out of it.
So why'd you pick a winner?
Because you asked me to. I was just playing your game.
Dusty Rhodes in the belly welly.
So you honestly don't think Maxine isn't the best one on NXT?
Oh, I didn't pick her. She's up there.
Of those last 4 or 5, you don't think she should have won?
No, I didn't pick her.
Take your pick aside and reevaluate the whole thing.
I think that she should have been at least in the top 2.
Yes. That's a victory for me right there. Absolutely.
Dusty Rhodes. On,
the Dweem.
on WWE NXT this past Tuesday night.
And Cody.
It was a fun show. We already talked about Cody. You know, he's a stud. He got all the girls.
Cody was at the wedding.
Remember, that's how he became dashing. Well, it's his brother getting married.
But still, it almost makes him a baby face. He's looking at Ted DiBiase like, hey, what are you doing? Like, what, you going to go fight Ted DiBiase now?
Why not? Brothers have spar matches, fight each other every now and again.
I don't know. It's kind of funny. Dusty was against Dustin's first marriage, but he's for this one.
Oh, woman, would you marry me now? Has NXT gotten better since going online is the question, actually. Because seemingly it has.
Oh, yeah.
The show we saw live a couple weeks ago here, taped in Milwaukee, was a good show, very entertaining.
Halloween costumes.
Tonight, or this past Tuesday's show was also very entertaining.
It's because they're getting down to the good talent that they have. They're weeding out the rest of it that doesn't belong there.
What do they do with Oksana now? Got that okay? Sure, her Goldust and her obviously.
You know what? She'll probably wind up with DiBiase because God knows he needs something else to try to get him over.
Maurice isn't enough?
No, obviously.
Not even in Texas?
No, not even in. Well, in Texas, she's over big time. I mean, Best Buy goes through monitors every week. But,
Best Buy goes through monitors.
Yeah, everyone's buying new TV screens, monitors.
Pee Wee Herman just bought a few new ones.
I'm sure he did. Can you imagine Pee Wee in the locker room? Oh my gosh.
Pee Wee Herman, you mean?
Yeah.
Is it not a foregone conclusion that he didn't go home alone that night?
Pee Wee?
Herman.
I don't know. Who do you think he left with?
I care not to speculate on that.
Well, they're pals.
TNA Impact is broadcasting after this show is being taped. However, we do know that the story is expected to be explained as to how the main event will take place because Mr. Anderson is concussed.
And Ken's not in good shape. He's not even going to be at the pay-per-view Sunday, nor will he be at the next 2 weeks' worth of TVs.
Wow. So, Mr. Anderson will make his return to the Impact Zone when I make my return to the Impact Zone on November 15th?
I think so, yes.
Fitting.
How does it make you feel?
Makes me feel very good. Maybe we can ride together.
I'm sure you guys could. He'll take you to catering. You can show him
I'm
around.
already in there. NXT, is it better?
Absolutely. Intern Cal thinks this NXT is the best of all 3. He wants to know how he can be involved in that one.
That's this week's Week in Review. Still to come, David, we're going to do the Be the Booker segment for this Sunday's TNA Turning Point pay-per-view.
BTB.
A big number of matches. We got the whiteboard sitting here in front of us. And
You know, Fox
this one's
News
gonna
had a
be fun.
whiteboard. How awesome was that? You're still not
I
feeling well.
no, I
about it.
gave Fox News a chance on Tuesday night. I turned to it, and it was a black screen, and all it did was in white letters. It said, "We did it,"
No way.
and there was just applause
Stop
in the background.
that. Stop
That's
that.
what I saw. It's Fox News. That's what I saw. We did it.
You're too much.
Let's go to this week's 10 best.
Ten best WCW moments. It's been a culmination. The last 9 weeks, we've run down the 10 best moments in WCW history. It is time for number 1, but first, a reset. Number 10 in the WCW 10 best was Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho. The build-up between those two when Dean Malenko returned as some jack-o'-lantern guy and won the WCW Cruiserweight belt. Chris Jericho kept putting over Dean Malenko while Dean wasn't even on TV. It was an amazing build-up, and the pop that Dean Malenko got when he finally showed his face and beat the loving piss out of Chris Jericho. That was 10. Number 9 was Lex Luger debuting on the first ever WCW Monday Nitro. Number 8 was Bret Hart and Chris Benoit in their tribute match, which did not happen the day after Owen Hart passed away, but months later. Thank you for making sure I was alerted that I was wrong. Number 7, Hogan regains the belt after the dreaded finger poke of doom. And number 6, Flair Sting in the final match ever on WCW TV, real WCW TV, at Spring Break 2001. Number 5, April 10th, 2000, the New Blood relaunch on Monday Nitro with Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo working together for the first time. Number 4 is going to be the turn of Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I know, I got to keep looking at my notes over here. The heel turn of Hulk Hogan, 1996, July 6, 1996, at Bash at the Beach, and the formation of the New World Order. Number 3 is the Bash at the Beach 2000 with Vince Russo basically slamming Hulk Hogan for a good 10 minutes and profane at that, and giving the belt to Jeff Jarrett over Booker T. Number 2 was the famous line that we've used here on the TV show, "Fire me, I'm already fired," the reformation of the Horsemen, the Four Horsemen, and return of Ric Flair. Number 1, you've waited, and I've waited to say it, the best of the 10 best WCW moments of all time. Hogan, Goldberg, 1998, this summer, I believe, somewhere around July again. Don't quote me on it, because you'll put the date underneath, right under there. Hogan, Goldberg, the build-up had been that Goldberg was unstoppable. He had won the U.S. belt, and now he was going to challenge Hulk Hogan on free TV in the Georgia Dome. Hulk Hogan, Goldberg, winning the WCW Heavyweight Championship of the world. It is my best, my number 1, 10 best WCW moments of all time, because I, just like all of you, had a mark-out moment. Sitting in the bar at Raw Minds, watching it absolutely free. And you know what? All my wrestling friends around me, Raw was on the TV over on the side, but nobody cared. It was Hogan Goldberg for free. Now, was it the best business decision? No. That was a pay-per-view match. That was Starrcade right there. But it was great because it was an amazing match. Number 1, the 10 best, the best. Hogan, Goldberg, free TV. Goldberg beats Hogan for the belt.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. Reset. So situated there. Figured out where we were. We're going to talk about Versus. It's a fantasy segment, David Hero. It's a segment we did on Primetime several way back in the day. And this week, the combatants selected by one of our Twitter followers. The Real Chris Rob is the name. The Real Chris Rob, as opposed to the fake Chris Rob. And what we do in this segment is look at one superstar of the past versus one superstar of today and compare their skills and determine how that match may indeed turn out. And this week, the Real Chris Rob submitting 2 names of the past, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, and of current status, the best bumper in the business, Dolph Ziggler.
Can you explain what the best bumper in the business really means?
When you get hit, when you're in a wrestling match and you take a fall or you fall down, that's called a
bump.
So there is no one in the business right now who sells it better and does it better than Dolph Ziggler, in my opinion, on this side of the table.
Absolutely. Okay. Relax there.
You ever watch The Daily Show or wow?
We gotta play hardball here. Come on now.
There's no need for that. There's no need for that. No, I do not watch MSNBC.
Oh, okay.
Contrary to your assumption, there, pal.
Okay.
Are we gonna do this? Really?
Yeah, I'm waiting. Dolph Ziggler and Kurt Hennig. Come on.
I think it's an awesome matchup. You know, some people say that some of Kurt's best matches, or one of Kurt's best matches, was SummerSlam 1990. It was Mr. Perfect versus Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship. And that's one of those matches
Kurt
that you
Hennig
can
with
still
a bad
watch.
back.
Exactly. You can still watch to this day and enjoy. And Kurt Hennig would just throw himself, flail himself around that ring, which made the match that much more interesting. And that's similar to that what we see with Dolph Ziggler. And you also got to wonder, as you said, Kurt Hennig having that bad back, Dolph Ziggler can't be too far away from potentially a similar injury because that contorting doesn't last on the body very long. But these two men in a wrestling matchup, I think, would be, as you would say, epic.
I think it would be a great match. I don't know if I would call it epic, simply because
I said as you would say.
as good of a bumper as Dolph Z is, I just don't think he's in Kurt Hennig's league. I mean, Kurt Hennig was amazing. I mean, he made guys look. He took guys to the next level. Okay, I don't see Dolph Ziggler doing that yet. Who has Dolph had a great match with besides Daniel Bryan Danielson?
The Rey Mysterio Dolph Ziggler series, the John Morrison Dolph Ziggler series, great series of matchups. The Kofi Kingston.
Would you
Dolph
put
Ziggler
those to the
series.
same level as, let's
I
say,
think it's a
Kurt
different
Hennig
time.
and Bret Hart?
I think it's a different time. Dolph Ziggler, the Intercontinental Champion. Mr. Perfect, the Intercontinental Champion. At a time when that belt meant a hell of a lot more. Currently, it means just about nothing.
I think Dolph Ziggler could definitely test Kurt Hennig. You know, he could, because he can go. They're very similar as far as their styles. But I just think Kurt Hennig is that much more of a smarter wrestler than Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
That would outshine anything. He could do things that would frustrate Dolph Ziggler. And plus, let's face it, Kurt Hennig, one of the great promo guys. Dolphy Z, has he really cut a promo yet?
Nothing memorable.
Well, he's done. He has, but nothing that you're like, that was good.
Right.
He's always had Vicky with him.
He
Or
has not
Caitlyn
had
with
that
him.
buy-in moment. And what I mean by that is, when Austin 316, that's a buy-in moment.
And they've tried so many times where they had him choke out the Great Khali. I mean, they put him in spots to truly succeed, but he just hasn't done it yet. And I think that's more with the booking
Yeah.
of his character than actually his own fault, because he is talented, but for me, it's a perfect plex for the 1, 2, 3.
How long would you tolerate watching these two perform? Did they go Broadway?
God, I'd hope not.
Really? Do you have any tolerance for that time,
No.
a 60-minute match?
No.
In this
A
day?
Broadway is a time limit draw, just so, because some of them might not know.
That's true.
They don't know what a bumper is.
Dolph Ziggler,
Yeah.
best in the business.
It would never go a Broadway because Kurt's just that good. There aren't too many people that Kurt Hennig couldn't beat. I mean, Kurt Hennig is a former 8-way world champion.
Multi-time has to be.
Yes. No, one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Only once? Towards the end, too, right?
Maybe twice.
Not during
but once
the
for sure.
what was it, the Battle Bowl or the Super Bowl football thing?
No, he beat Nick Bockwinkel, but lost to Jerry Lawler.
Well, who didn't? All right, well, I would tend to agree with you. Dolph Ziggler not quite yet on the level of Kurt Hennig, but the career paths are very different for the two of them. I mean, Kurt was never in the Spirits Club.
No, I don't.
That's a good thing.
No, I don't. Believe me, I don't think Kurt played with those kind of pom-poms.
It's time now for, actually, before we do that, you can send in your suggestions for verses, and potentially we'll pick you as we pick the real Chris Rob this week. Each week, well, every so often, we'll do a versus segment. It all depends on what's going on in the world, We'll do a versus segment and pick 2 stars, one from now and one from then, to determine who might be the victor in that fantasy matchup. And speaking of fantasy, David Hero, it's time to go to what is a very popular segment here on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. This Sunday night on pay-per-view, it's TNA Turning Point. And
How many matches are we doing?
I think there's like 8 or 9. Will this be Broadway, the time limit draw?
My God, I hope not. Not with 8 matches.
Let's
We
go.
pick winners here. We don't do draws.
Actually, before we do this segment, we're going to have a chicken dinner.
Wonderful.
Be the booker. Time to go to the whiteboard. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Be the Booker.
BTB.
BTB for
Yeah, you know
TNA Turning Point this Sunday night on pay-per-view. I want to remind everybody that the PWR Radio Excellence continues. Last night, Serena Deeb, our guest,
Serena.
for the first time ever, she had a lot to say. Going to be in Milwaukee here for Blizzard Brawl on December 4th, coming up in just a few weeks. Also, we will be live tonight, right after TNA's Turning Point pay-per-view, streaming live on our Blog Talk Radio channel. And be sure to join us there and give us a call. We'll be sharing your tweets, emails, and thoughts on the show. And
We're
we're live
Sunday
again.
night, not tonight.
Sunday night, sorry,
Yes.
yes, indeed. Very
Don't
good catch,
confuse
very
the
good catch.
masses.
And then on next Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern, we'll be live again on 540 ESPN. We apologize for hopping around the schedule so much. We're going to get back into a regular time very, very soon. But enough about that. David Hero, TNA Turning Point this Sunday night.
Look
on
at all these
pay-per-view.
matches.
A good number of matchups, several championships on the line. TNA announcing, or letting everyone know that Matt Morgan's going to be replacing an injured Mr. Anderson in that pay-per-view matchup against Jeff Hardy
Did
for
you
the
see
TNA
that
World
TNA
Heavyweight Championship.
Has now banned the chair shot to the head.
I believe Mr. Anderson himself broke that little bit of information.
How about that? Thank God. You know what? Looking at this on paper, it's a pretty solid pay-per-view.
It is, but let's start and let's go match by match, because what we do in this segment is this guy over here, that one,
This guy.
picks
The guy on the
the
right side.
books it as he sees it going to happen, and I simply predict it from a fan's point of view. And we're going to start with Rob Van Dam versus Tommy Dreamer, representative of EV 2.0 and an independent, I guess you could call him.
Yes, he is considered independent right now.
History there.
So
Big time history.
So he's paranoid, right?
Why wouldn't he
He
be?
thinks everyone's out to screw him right now.
Yeah.
So, what makes the most sense? At some point, Tommy Dreamer defeats Rob Van Dam. Let's say someone from EV2 comes down just to be a part of something, winds up interfering and costing RVD the match to make him just a little bit more paranoid, and Tommy Dreamer leaves Turning Point the winner.
But don't forget, later on, we've got this matchup featuring EV 2.0 going up against Fortune. And it seems to make sense to me for RVD to win this matchup. I just don't see the value in Tommy Dreamer winning.
Because they got to keep him paranoid for a while. Tommy Dreamer has won matches he shouldn't have won already.
Paranoid as to how
are
he
out-
defeated him?
Yeah. Somehow, Tommy Dreamer, it's going to be an unintentional screw job finish on Rob Van Dam. So then RVD will be thinking, okay, which one of you guys is the mole? Which one is trying to screw me over? They got to keep him busy, because right now, Jeff Hardy's going to be tied up with Matt Morgan and these other guys for a little bit. Not Fortune, but some other baby faces. They're going to save RVD and Jeff Hardy for a little while.
You've convinced me Tommy Dreamer wins that matchup. We'll go with that.
Good.
Notice the placement of that underline.
Mm-hmm.
Next matchup is Mickie James, new to TNA Wrestling, going up against Tara. We've been sold on the history between these two and been attempting to convince us as TNA that this is real drama between Mickie James and Tara. We saw that big brawl last week on Impact to start the show, and now we see the match happening at Turning Point. Mickie James, she's hardcore country, you know,
Yes, she
up
is.
against Tara.
Okay, so now they're investing into this storyline that Mickie James cost Tara her job at the WWE.
Up
correct?
north?
Yes, up north. So if Mickie James comes in her first pay-per-view match defeats Tara, well, no kidding, then Tara should have been released, because she's obviously not that good. They can't let the girl that just comes in from the E to come in and be one of their top knockouts.
But this girl, when she just came in from the E, was the top knockout. She beat ODB and took the title.
But they have to learn their lesson. But keep in mind, ODB then won it back on their first live Impact.
Sure.
So they had the TNA star beating the Raw SmackDown star.
And a more prominent audience.
So I'm gonna go with Tara, and which some people will say is an upset. But hey, they got to keep some things going here, being a little consistent.
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 And wrestling?
Absolutely. Just make sure we know that Tommy Dreamer is going to win that match.
They're drawing a lot over there. You know, it seems as if Mickey should win that matchup. Just because of the history of TNA's treatment of former WWE stars.
Mm-hmm.
I see your point on Tara, but where's the TNA Knockouts Championship in this whole thing? It seems that maybe I'm making a bad assumption that...
That is Madison Rayne.
Yeah, correct, but maybe I'm making a bad assumption that if there's a Knockouts match, it's got to be for the title. And what the heck's going on with the Knockouts Tag Team titles? We haven't seen those defended in quite a while, at least as far as I can remember.
You miss them? Okay.
Not at all.
Then don't worry about it.
Tara, we'll go with that. Next matchup, it's EV 2.0 versus Fortune. The winning team gets to...
wrong. They've changed it.
Oh.
Whoever gets pinned is fired.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Hey now. It was originally the winning team got to select who left the company from the opposing team.
Listen,
Really? Everybody over there?
well, red on the right. Absolutely. Why not?
Who from Fortune is going to be in this matchup? Beer Money, I would assume.
Yeah,
Gotta have them on the
it's
show.
going to be Beer Money. You got to figure AJ Styles and Kaz. Or, yeah.
Over on this side, we know that there's some uniqueness going on with him and TNA. There are reports that he may no longer be with TNA after Sunday night. How much longer there? This, I think, is a benefit to TNA. You don't have much to get behind on this side.
No. No. That's why Fortune is finally going to put the nail in that coffin. And EV2. Because,
EV2 without Sabu?
no, EV2, he's the guy that's going to get fired.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Not the guy you're booking now?
No.
All right, well, the next matchup, Jersey Shore style, Robbie E. of
With
the
Cookie.
Shore, with Cookie, not Snooki. What kind of cookie is she? Peanut butter?
Sugar.
Jay Lethal, former X Division champion, current X Division champion rather, versus Robbie E. This match is for the X Division championship. David Hero, what do you think is going to happen? There's been a lot of emphasis on the Shore.
Here's the thing.
Hash mark?
Let's change colors here for a second. $15,000 is invested into this angle with JWoww. How much more does it mean when JWoww comes back that he is your X Division champion?
Oh, gosh.
They got to get these kids over.
It's a taste.
He's already over.
Can they?
Yes.
After that horrible introduction?
Yes. After the introduction, they've actually done pretty good.
Not a bad wrestler, by the way.
No, but 15 grand? They got to invest it back into these people.
Jay Lethal loses the X Division championship to Robbie
Yes.
and Cookie.
Yes. Kind of like when the Honky Tonk Man beat Ricky Steamboat.
And, longest reigning Intercontinental champion of all time.
This one here, I got to do it. This is my DHHS.
Really?
Yeah. This one.
I like how that marker sort of blended after you wrote over the blue. A little bit of red and blue together
Yeah.
there, trying to
Purple.
get something done.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? There you go. I had to get that blue off my red.
And the truth comes out. Jay Lethal, I hate to see him lose that championship. However,
You know what?
the X Division
I like
champion
Jay
so many
Lethal,
times.
super talented kid, but what has he done?
Oh, he impersonated Ric Flair.
And the Macho Man. And since he stopped doing that, he's kind of been stuck in neutral.
Yeah. Next matchup is for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. It's the Motor City Machine Guns. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin going up against, in their last match, their retirement match, Devon and Brother Ray, Team 3D. They could walk out, retiring as the TNA World Heavyweight Champions, Tag Team Champions, or the Motor City Machine Guns could get what they call, I think, the rub from Team 3D and be that much better.
This one I'm kind of torn on. And it's not because I'm big fans of Team 3D, but them winning doesn't do anything for TNA.
Right.
These guys
Does a lot
here-
for them.
Yeah, but these guys need to win this match. They need to retain the titles and need to go on because it just makes them that much stronger. It truly makes them the World Tag Team Champions. Otherwise, you got to start a whole new tournament all over again, and that sucks.
Because then, yeah.
The titles are vacant.
Are they really retiring?
Yeah. They got their wrestling school, which will be like OVW
Mhm.
for TNA,
Mhm.
and Devon and Bubba are going to be agents.
Do you think TNA feels they owe them the opportunity to leave, that happy moment on the pay-per-view to leave
no,
as the champions?
I think Team 3D owes it to the Machine Gunners to put them over. For all the teams that put them over along the way, and let's not forget, it was about a year ago when these guys dumped one of the machine guns on his head and knocked him out of the
Stop
match.
tape?
Stop tape.
Trish Stratus, I believe, was leaving, won the Divas Championship, retired with it.
Right.
The question wasn't, will they or they do the right thing? The question is, does TNA feel that they need to do the right thing for Team 3D?
The only thing I'm concerned about is Dixie may want to send them out that way.
Mhm.
But if she really cares about what's best for her company, she leaves these guys strong. What's so funny?
What you didn't see was your marker jumped over.
Well, I don't want to put any more stuff on here.
I got to think that they're going to go ahead and do the wrong thing here.
Okay.
Team 3DX, I like that. This should be a fun matchup, though. You got two super talented young men here. You've got two very talented veterans here. Styles are
Let's just
vastly
hope that
different.
they
though.
don't go into business for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Has this match gotten enough attention?
Oh, more than enough.
Really?
I think so.
Big announcement at Bound for Glory.
Mhm.
Had that promo last week on
Yes,
Impact, which
plenty,
was good.
Plenty. Yeah.
All right. Samoa Joe versus Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett back to being what looks like the chosen one with his little haircut now, the heel hair. You know, Jeff Jarrett, Chris Jericho are the two that come to mind. When they go heel, they change their appearance. Jericho always grew a beard when he went heel, and Jeff Jarrett cutting his hair when he's heel. I like that. It just sort of solidifies it. It's good stuff. But Jeff Jarrett, the king of the mountain, the stroke, Slapnuts, the chosen one, will go up against a jaded Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, really, in my opinion, David, needs to get back to that Joe is going to kill you kind of style.
That'll make a difference.
Maybe not in this particular matchup, but just overall for Samoa Joe.
Let's not forget that this guy right here, Samoa Joe, was tossed over the barrier. At TV, 3 weeks ago?
Mhm.
There's no way he should come back healthy and beat a healthy Jeff Jarrett.
Is there any reason for Jeff Jarrett to lose a match anytime in the near future?
No, because they need to keep everybody in the Immortals strong and unbeatable for a little while. So then finally when they do get beat, it means something.
And Samoa Joe continues to swim around in the pool of obscurity.
Yes.
It's a shame. Abyss versus the Pope. This David Hero is let me go ahead and finish the job here that the interns didn't finish, a last rites match, otherwise known as a casket match. I'm not sure how we got there, to be honest with you,
I don't either.
but we're there. The Pope versus Abyss in a last rites match this Sunday at TNA Turning Point. And keep in mind, as it wasn't pointed out, as far as I can recall, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yes, it is.
Aside from the DHHS moment of Robbie E. defeating Jay Lethal for the X Division Championship. Going this way. Is that like a projection? These are your projections, right? We're on this
See,
side.
this is where I'm torn. You know? But if I'm going to stick with my...
You were torn before.
If I'm going to stick with my theory on Immortals not losing, and a last rites match is normally a no DQ, right?
Mm-hmm. Anything goes.
So you got to figure the Immortals. I know it's weird seeing red on the left, but seeing Abyss and the Immortals come out and beat up the Pope.
You know, the only reason red's on the left right now is because it's your boy, the Pope, and you just can't circle him. That's what it is.
Not even the
That's
case.
what it is. You
Not-
are amazing.
Absolutely, I am.
I mean, it just everything's been right down the line, following what you're told to do here, and then here you gotta that
Every
one
once in a
cross won't matter. Just so you know,
I know it doesn't matter because look at all this red here on the right. Yeah.
Abyss has been on a strong roll.
Well, not really. I mean, he hasn't. I mean, he lost the Bound for Glory to Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, but did he really lose because he's part of the
Right.
Immortals
So
and they?
let's just say that, let's say Beer Money and Jeff Jarrett and everyone else from the Immortals come out here, beat this guy down, they take him out of the picture just for a week or two, and then Abyss and the Immortals keep rolling through Turning Point.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right, so Taz made a joke of it last week, but Miss Tessmeyer is being trained by Lacey Von Erich.
Tessmacher.
Is being
Yes.
trained by Lacey Von Erich.
Yes.
So they made a huge joke of that on Impact, as Taz and Tenay did, or so they've just sort of said it in.
They just shouldn't have said anything at all. I mean, the problem with Taz is 80% of the time he wants to get himself over at someone else's expense.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help the program.
The main event at TNA Turning Point this
Whoa,
Sunday.
whoa, whoa,
What I was going to
homie,
get to,
you didn't pick a winner here.
I know. What I was going to get to is, does Fortune need a woman? Oh, woman, won't you marry me now?
No. Wow. I like them apples.
And I'll write it outside the box, because that's how I think. Since you erased them here.
But you can always fill them back in.
Main event.
Not even gonna, no. Just, no. I like Matt Morgan, but no.
Didn't that happen too fast?
Yeah, I stroked them pretty quick, didn't I?
I mean, Mac Morgan's transition out of Fortune
Yeah.
to being his own man.
All within one show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Over a very delicate situation. The situation being concussions in professional wrestling.
And it's great, you know? But Matt Morgan's been kicking people's teeth in for how long now? And now all of a sudden he's being sensitive. It was rushed. And they needed someone to fill Kenny Anderson's spot, and that's what they're doing. But Jeff Hardy is going to roll for a little while as the TNA World Champion.
He's got to.
Look at all this red on the right.
I don't.
You know
I'm not
what? You know
familiar
what?
with you're
You
talking
can
about.
tell that this show is being taped in Wisconsin. No question. You know it's a red state?
It's a temporary situation. Let's review the. What are you, making a hamburger helper tonight?
Yeah. Like the back of my hand. Oh wait, that didn't work out too well, did it?
Let's review. Teflon, baby. Come on, keep it going. Keep it going.
No.
Teflon, gonna bounce right off.
Should slide right off.
Just in a waiting period.
I'm waiting 2 more years.
TNA Turning Point this Sunday night on pay-per-view. You may as well talk about it, because I can't. It's all over there, and I just don't even want to look at it.
There's nothing to talk about.
Disgusting
This
cute
is how
color now.
it should go.
Tommy Dreamer defeating RVD. Tara defeating Mickey James. Fortune defeating EV 2.0. Sabu Gone from TNA. DHHS moment of the night. Jay Lethal
Dropping the title.
losing his championship, his X Division championship to Robbie E. And Team 3D loses to the Motor City Machine Guns, who retains the TNA World Heavyweight Championships, because that's the way it should be. Samoa Joe not able to defeat Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett should be untouchable at this point going forward, and Samoa Joe will be the victim this Sunday night at Turning Point. And the Pope will be placed into that casket.
According
By
to me,
Abyss.
you think he's going to win.
I do. Placed into that casket in the last rights matchup. And the man retaining his TNA World Heavyweight Championship is the former Creature of the Night, Jeff Hardy.
The Antichrist of wrestling.
That's what he calls himself. Now, interesting note, at the end of this pay-per-view, what will have happened? Because I think that's an interesting perspective to look at. Jeff Hardy retains